125 pounds for the Trojans. You have coming out Kyler Brewer, and for Oklahoma State, you've got Trevor Mastrogiovanni, who is 8-1, beg your pardon. And he had a 5-2 victory over Brewer in the previous meeting. Brewer is now 4-6. And we mentioned a couple of Cowboys coming home with the Trojans. Neil Arisman, the head coach, Chandler Rogers, the assistant. We'll talk more about them in a bit. And they're happy to be wrestling here, even though it's obviously not a good situation in terms of wins and losses for them. But to get a chance to wrestle the powerhouse programs is going to help that program eventually.
Well, it didn't intimidate this wrestler from UALR. He's doing a good job here on the legs of Mastrogiovanni,
as we said, won 4-2 last time over Brewer. To show you the challenge that Little Rock has, we mentioned Brewer's 4-6. There's only one wrestler in the Little Rock lineup, and that's 133 Paul Bianchi, who has an above 500 record, and he might not wrestle tonight. We're not sure if it's going to be him or Jalen Carson. We'll find out, of course, when the next match starts. But pretty tough road. Oh, nice whip over there by Mastrogiovanni. He's got a takedown and near fall points.
He just locked up those elbows, got both arms together there, and just hip threw him to his back. Probably gonna, he's gonna let him off his, gets his weight shifted here and get some chest pressure on him. Might get those shoulders down.
2-0 on the board, but he has a...
He did?
He's pinned. I'm sorry, I didn't think he was calling the fall. So that fall comes in just 1 minute and 40 seconds for Mastrogiovanni, and the Cowboys jump off to a 6-0 lead. His coaches, Neil Arisman, second-year head coach, Cowboy Big 12 champion in 2011, mentored some NCAA champs, and he was a graduate assistant here. This is his second year. He was the first coach hired when they became a Division I program 2 years ago.
Not a harder working coach in the country either. He's trying to find his way, though, now with the team and with recruiting and everything else that goes with it. Is a big job to build a program from scratch.
Jalen Carson, we don't have his record. He was not scheduled to be the starter. Paul Bianchi was 8-3, best wrestler, and won the only match for the Trojans against the Cowboys 3 weeks ago. But he goes against Reese Whitcraft, who was not in that match. Whitcraft is now 6-3 after his victory this afternoon down at Norman, as the Cowboys defeated Oklahoma 24-10 in Bedlam at Norman, and jumped on the bus and drove back home to wrestle this one.
And what's impressive about it is I believe he's weighing in at 125 pounds and wrestling up at 133 pounds.
He weighed in about 131 today, John Smith said. So now that means he cannot wrestle 125 next week in the Cowboy Challenge. He'll have to be at 133. John said. So we were thinking he might drop down because Dayton Fix will also be wrestling for the Cowboys. In that one, you can have more than one wrestler per weight in that event. There's a good duck under there by Whitcraft. Can he finish?
No finish there yet.
Nope.
Let the single go also. So he's back to scratch. Back to even.
Whitcraft wrestled 125, or rather 133 all year last year, and had a good solid freshman season wrestling up a weight, giving up some strength and some weight, but was very solid. Yet to be determined whether it will be him or whether it will be Mastrogiovanni by the time we get to the national tournament.
Well, the good news is that Fix is coming back, and he's back this week. In fact, he weighed in, made weight today. So he's ready to go, and that's going to be a big boost to the lineup, to the confidence of the team as well.
Good little snap down, takedown by Whitcraft. Got a power half in. He's trying to get back points. And I will refer to, and people are going to get all upset when I say this, the bogus #1 ranked Dayton Fix. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. I don't want to interrupt if something exciting happens here, but I have a real problem when the people in all sports, but especially in wrestling, when they rank somebody who is not eligible to wrestler and has not wrestled this year. Now, we all know he's good enough to be #1 in the country, but if you rank them and they haven't competed, you're doing a projection, not a ranking. Ranking should be your resume to date this season. And even the NCAA tells you when they look at large selections and all that, previous years do not count for anything. It's this year. So anyway, I get on my high horse about that. Whitcraft rides out with a 2-0 lead. Now, Fix will take care of that as soon as he gets in there and wins a couple of matches.
Oh, yeah. And as you said, there's going to be we'll see what happens, transpires at 25 before the conference championships.
They had one ranking match early in the year. Master Giovanni won by 1 point over Whitcraft, and that's really been it. So Whitcraft starts on top here, the sophomore from Broken Arrow, and Carson trying to get away, trailing 2-0, and gave up some riding time, 1:20 now of riding time for Whitcraft. So we'll see if Mr. Carson can get out of there and get some offense going. You know, on paper, Leroy, there aren't a lot of weights tonight. Very few, and there's the escape to make it 2-1, where on paper at least, Little Rock has a very good chance of a victory. And now, that's just on paper. But
well, and what you would want to happen here is to not keep him close, and so he needs to pick up the pressure, let him up when he's not turning him, and try to take him down and build on his lead. And that's what John wants his wrestlers to do and get from this competition here tonight. And he knows that nice little slap upside the head there, but he's still got some fight in him, doesn't he?
He sure does. Now, for Neil Erisman, it's got to be tough if you walk out here tonight and end up with 10 guys getting beaten, and most of them decisively. How hard is that on a coach, even though it's a new program? There's Whitcraft going for 2.
Nice little reshot there.
How hard is that on a head coach if he has to keep absorbing losses like that during a year? Does that get to you?
It gets to the team, and that's what he's most concerned about is their attitude, and that's tough to, you know, there's nothing like winning to get your spirits going and confidence up, and that's the challenge you take when you want to take on these major programs on your schedule.
And Whitcraft just got in there. What do you think about that move? That was sharp.
A nice double. It was a reshot. The guy went to his knees and didn't follow through, and that's what happens if you're wrestling somebody that's attentive, as Reese was there. Capitalized on a half shot.
Well, Mr. Carson, Jalen Carson, looking for a comeback here in the third. He starts in the top position. There's a caution. Carson a little too quick off the whistle. Or rather, was that was Whitcraft, I believe. I think Oklahoma State is in the green on the scoreboard. Yes. So caution for jumping the whistle, and Carson wants to get back in it. Whitcraft wants to separate the score.
He's got a good chance to reverse him here with it by having that foot, control that foot. He's got really good hips. He flips those hips real well. He's agile that way, and that helps him scrambling, getting in those positions where Carson pulled him into a crab ride and wasn't able to stretch him out and keep control of it.
Riding time in favor of Whitcraft also, in addition to the 6-2 score on the board. So he's in firm command here so far, and there's 2 more.
Nice shot there, double leg again.
You're still in control, Green. Pull him out. You're still in control. Got him there. Feet. Out of bounds, Green control. Come out.
Yeah, here we go with this last takedown. It looked like he just leapfrogged into it, and didn't have to get through, work through the hands or the head. His stance kind of broke down on him. Carson's did.
Jalen Carson, a freshman from St. Louis, where the NCAA championships will be held here March 18th through the 20th, we hope. So far, it's on track, but don't know how many fans will be allowed in, how many media will be allowed in. Everything is still a little up in the air right now.
30 seconds remaining, period 3.
So 8-3 Whitcraft. Final 25 seconds. Whitcraft in again. A takedown here and a right out would give him a major decision.
And that's why you're going to see in wrestling, you're going to see, even though the guy has the win pretty much locked up, but what he's trying to do is get the bonus points.
Sure.
8-point spread, 12-point spread, 15-point spread, or a pin is all get you additional points. So there's a lot of incentive there for these guys to stretch themselves and try to get more points and spread the victory.
And I couldn't figure out why they were going back to the middle. The clock said 0, but there was a split second.
Bronk,
What up, TB?
what do you think my next move should be? Give it to me straight. Maybe it's just time I hang him up.
I got one word for you. Retirement. If you retire now, you're gonna be walking on soft sand in a week.
Just come to Florida
And feel the wind in your hair. Retirement is like winning another
one.
Maybe I'll even join you.
On the Spotty Network, this is what Tom heard.
If you retire now, you're soft and weak.
Just come to Florida and win another one.
Maybe I'll even join you.
Just go win another one.
Like it's that easy, Gronk. Maybe it is. I still feel like I have a lot to accomplish.
My goal is to win one more.
And Gronk's coming with me.
I'm retired from retirement.
Here's Reese again, shooting in on that double. Nice finish.
10-0 Cowboys. You're watching Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. For the team, so he's had a splendid coaching career as well as, of course, one of the great freestyle wrestling careers in American wrestling history. So for the Cowboys, Dusty Hone comes out, and that's where there's been a change because two-time All-American Cade Brock, as we said, re-injured his knee for the third time here a couple of weeks ago, and Hone is 4-2. Redshirt senior filling in. He goes against Connor Ward, the redshirt sophomore from Little Rock. He is 1-10, so a tough call for him. And Hone, they did not meet last time. Hone had a victory, but it was not against Connor Ward. Cade Brock, Leroy, Stillwater product and really a tough luck guy. That's the third time he's missed at least half or full of season because of that same knee issue, 3 times.
It is, and I feel so bad for him, as does many of the Cowboy fans, particularly those from Stillwater who've watched him all his life, and he'll adapt. He'll get through it. I don't know if that means it's his career at Oklahoma State because these guys are getting a free year,
right?
Yet or not. Maybe they do know for a fact that it is career-ending, but let's hope it's not, and we'll get to see him back again. But if we don't, he's been a joy to watch, and Dusty Hone here was a real workhorse horse last year when he came in because Brock couldn't wrestle last year as he was healing up from his surgery, and did a good job.
I'll give one little update, one little sort of a correction on the Ward and Hone situation. They did actually wrestle before, but it was a 1-0 victory by Hone, but it was an extra match. It was not part of the actual dual match. Hone beat Austin Keel 22-8, a major decision.
My apologies.
Actual dual match. They wrestled some extras, as did Oklahoma State this evening. Before this duel, they had some extra matches, intra-squad and some against Little Rock rather. So technically they haven't met in an official duel, but Hone did win 1-0. Now Hone suffered 11-3 major decision loss this afternoon at Oklahoma to number 7 ranked Dom Demas. So he had a tough go there. And these guys obviously in the match 3 weeks ago at Little Rock did not have any offense going, just a 1-0. I don't know if it was riding time or an escape.
Well,
that was it.
Yeah, and I think Hone's not going to light up the world when he wrestles. I mean, he's a pretty calculated wrestler, and he isn't going to get out of position, but he isn't going to surprise you with too many things that he tries to do. He's a real workhorse is what he is, and we'll see where that gets him in this. He usually gets stronger, though, as the match goes along. He tweaked his knee a little bit. That you see the sleeve on his, or the wrapping on the black wrapping on the leg there is a result of a match he was in at Air Force up in Colorado Springs recently.
Mr. Ward is a sophomore from Shawnee, Kansas, and Hone, of course, a redshirt senior from the great state of Utah. Came a long way to wrestle at Oklahoma State. He's from Cedar City.
St. Edward's High School, I believe, is where he wrestled. His dad was a coach. Wrestling family. He had a good match today against Demas for a while there until he let he got in a position where Demas could put him from his feet to his back, which he's so good at, and that you take that situation away, or Demas did what he had to do to get in that, use that position to get his 5-point move on Dusty, which really got the ball rolling for his victory today. And so,
well, Ward chose down, and might not have been a wise choice because he's having no luck getting away after a minute 15 underneath.
Well, Dusty really needs this mat time right now because of Cade having the first half of the season was his of this short season, and so he needs this time to sharpen his skills up and get in shape, and we're only talking about 6 weeks from the NCAA tournament practically, so it's a short season, and they need all the competition they can get, and that's why John scheduled this match. He goes back to wrestle when nobody else is work out when nobody else is working out. It goes back to his days of international wrestling where he was working out at midnight because the Russians weren't.
Yeah. Hone rides out.
He's wrestling now when the Super Bowl's going on. So
Hone rides out to, it's still nothing to Hone with 2 minutes on the board. He'll choose bottom, try to get out of there and take a 1-0 lead on the board, plus maintain his riding time. As Ward had no luck at all. He wasn't ever really in any danger, but he was not very close to getting an escape at all. So let's see if Hone can get out and put more pressure on Ward.
Hip lock there.
And he's out. So 1-0 on the board, plus Hone still has 1:39 riding time. Or actually, I'm looking at I thought that was the riding time clock, and it is not. That's the match clock because it's running down. So he has riding time and a 1-0 lead on the board. So in effect, it's 2-0 right now. And unless Ward can get a takedown fairly soon, that riding time will end up being cinched. He's coming after Hone now, but Hone with a good sprawl there, not in any danger.
Yeah, you don't want to be too high here. Get your hips back. That's what you're trying to do, and get his arms extended. If you're Hone, your other Arkansas, you want to pull those legs in, pull that knee into your chest and finish it up.
Well, only a 1-0 match. Technically 2-0 as riding time is now locked. So it's 2-0 home. So a takedown and ride out for Ward would tie this and send it to sudden victory. He's got to find some way to get in there and score.
Yeah, he's done a good job of staying in the match here, and he's
double leg
got a
there.
Chance now with just a takedown away.
Hip block by Hone.
And here he's close to getting it.
But they're off with only 11 seconds left, so Hone just needs to make sure he doesn't get tied up in anything here, and he can walk away with a 2-0 victory.
Well, that's the challenge, and the problem is that you keep people in the match with you, and all they need is one score to.
So this was very much like the last match, just 2-0 instead of 1-0, and that gives the Cowboys a 13-0 lead. So coming up, Boo Llewellyn for the Cowboys, one of 4 unbeaten ones. Remember, won its 9th straight, I believe, against Oklahoma, 24-10. Dustin Plott had a nice victory over a solid opponent, and A.J. Ferrari in her battle of ranked 197-pounders edged Jake Woodley. That was the best match of the day of ranked opponents against each other. Llewellyn, the senior from UConn, going against Kyle Pruitt, a redshirt freshman from UALR, who is 2-7. Llewellyn is 7-0 on the year, one of the 4 unbeaten Cowboys, as we said. And Pruitt is a freshman from Union, Missouri.
I like seeing him go for that shot early on in the match. Earlier today, when he was wrestling the Moore from OU, he pretty much didn't take a shot first period. So I'm sure that was something he wanted to correct in this match, and that's what OSU gets to do. They get to go from that match and work on the things that they needed to work on, that coaches want them to work on, and right away.
So Llewellyn with an early takedown, a kind of a give me escape to Pruitt, and then Llewellyn is right back in there with another one to take a 4-1 lead, just a little over a minute into the match. And Llewellyn, a returning All-American, as we said, one of 4 Cowboys currently unbeaten in this season. He, along with Travis Whitlake, A.J. Ferrari, and Dustin Plott. Now watch out, that's his favorite turn, isn't it?
When he gets that 2-on-1, he likes to tilt him with that, and he can go both sides, and there he is. He got it on the other reverse side that he rolled to.
And he got 4. I thought he might not have gotten 4, but he did. So it's 8-1. Or 8-2 now with the escape.
1 point on the release.
And Llewellyn off to a great start here. On the way to bonus points, you would think, especially against an opponent that he's already handled 10-3 earlier in the previous duel 3 weeks ago.
Well, if he stays healthy, that's been a little bit of his challenge, but he stays healthy and he focuses on his execution, which he comes out and is doing that now as we watch him, and wrestles in what we call a chain-like sequence where he's just trying to put moves together and combinations and stay on the attack. You know, he's in his prime.
10-2 with the 3 takedowns and a 4-point near fall for Llewellyn. And you'll notice we mentioned that there's another turn, and that's going to be 2 more, so it'll be 12-2. Final 10 seconds of the first period. 10-3 now, by the way. They've forgotten that one escape. They hadn't put it on the scoreboard. So 10-3 after 1 period.
And at the end of 1 period of wrestling, Llewellyn with a 14-point lead.
That's 12-3. Beg your pardon, 12-3. I had that written down right, but I said it wrong. So that's even a wider margin than what he won by in the duel 3 weeks ago. So Llewellyn chooses bottom to start the second. And we mentioned that Pruitt is a freshman if you'll notice, every wrestler Arkansas Little Rock has put out so far has been freshman, sophomore, very young team still, just 2 years into the program. And there's an escape by Llewellyn to make it 13. Well, now they put up 15. I'm confused, Leroy. I think it's 13-3 because it was 13 going into the period. Or rather 12 going into the period. He got an escape that should be 13-3, but they've got 15-3. So,
well, and as you mentioned, the other challenge we have, Arkansas has, is that you've got to. There's a little slip by, easy takedown there, but it takes a while to build up good talent from your state, and you really need good talent from your state to be competitive in Division I athletics. And they've been at it now for 14, 15 years, but it does take some time to really get good coaching into your state and that's experienced in the sport, and it takes a while to build at the grassroots level up because they become your feeder, and that's a problem too. He did it.
So that technical fall comes with the takedown and made it 19-4, and the Cowboys will boost that lead to 18-0. Lee Llewellyn made short work of that one in the second period. The redshirt junior from Oklahoma State is only 2-1. He came off of a knee injury. Boy, he fires out there and gets a quick takedown on Noah Azir, a redshirt senior. He is 1-6. We're going to say we don't know for sure. We're pronouncing his name Azir. As you can see, it's A-Z-I-E-R-E. Our apologies if it's supposed to be different from that, but we weren't able to find out an exact pronunciation. So 2-0 Sheets so far. And in the duel 3 weeks ago, they did not meet. So, because Jalen Harper wrestled for Oklahoma State at 157 in that one.
Well, he's getting right down to business, that's for sure. Got a near fall there, and good takedown, opening it up after his loss this morning or this afternoon in Norman. He's going right to work, and that's
here. Got that crossface going, and
that's the advantage of having a match. You can go wrestle it out. His loss was a result of just being on his knee at the very end. You know, there are a few seconds left, and
1 second left. The takedown against him. He 4-point near fall there. That's going to make it 10-0. Yeah, against Justin Thomas, they've had great battles when they've wrestled, and Thomas looked like he was going to lose in the bottom of the tiebreaker when Sheets reversed, but Thomas quickly escaped and then scored a takedown with 1 second left to win it by 1 point. Heck of a match. Great match. Probably the best match of the day, at least toward the end.
Well, and the Sooners come back here in 2 more weeks. They wrestle here at home with this short season.
So that is 14-0. He could actually let him up and take him down and it would be over, or he can just turn him one more time and it will be over, and I think he's on the way to doing that, and there it is. If he doesn't pin him here, the match is going to end by tech fall. It's going to be 18-0, which ironically is what the team score is going into this match. That's 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So Cowboys now 18-2, and of course a pin by Mastro Giovanni. He'd already scored 8 or 10 points early. So a lot of match points being put up for Oklahoma State, and Little Rock trying to just find some kind of an answer, but boy, do they have a challenge now. Number 4, Travis Whitlake, the redshirt sophomore from Coos Bay, Oregon, unbeaten at 7-0 for the Cowboys. And a late replacement here, Zeke Beach. I love that name. Zeke Beach for UALR is coming out. We thought it was going to be Alex Hernandez, another freshman, but Beach in there, and Whitlake quickly strikes for 2. Whitlake was very sound this afternoon and winning in the duel at Norman with a technical fall. 26-11 in 6 minutes and 16 seconds.
Nice ankle pick there.
2 takedowns very quickly.
Shuck, he's had 3 different skills here, 3 different takedowns that he's, and you really, it is good to put them in a uniform, get out there against an opponent, and build their confidence that way, because sometimes Whitlake will wrestle real reserved, but when he opens up and lets loose and realizes that he's not only using his skills, but he's kind of finding and remembering what he can do as a result of having somebody that's maybe not as tough a challenge for him. And that's the benefit to all the OSU wrestlers when they're competing here against this startup program in Arkansas.
Well, 10-2 now as the 4-point near fall was scored. So Beach has a big hill to climb, to say the least, and he's on his back again. A count, and that's going to be 4 more, so that makes the score 14-2, and we're just 1:47 into this match. So 1 more turn, if it's a 4-point turn, would end the match. And we have a minute left in the first period for that to happen. So this is
just can't express how important it is that they get competition in, no matter what type it is. That they're getting out on the mat, and they're able to compete. It's good for both teams, both programs. We're only 6 weeks away from the NCAA tournament, and you're trying to keep them healthy during this virus and injury-free. That's a challenge enough. But then to be able to get the kind of competition you need to finish an NCAA championship.
That's going to finish this match right here with a 4-point near fall. 18-2 for Travis Whitlake, running the score to 28-0. So we go to 174. It is 28-0. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is an order of merit on the right side there with Pat Smith. He brought Pat to Arkansas, 4-time NCAA champion from Oklahoma State. John's on the beside Pat there, and what a wonderful job he's done for the sport of wrestling in that state, creating high school state championships, many programs now wrestling, and many colleges wrestling because of him. And he built the wrestling room at for UALR.
Well, what a wonderful job he's done in I want to say basically creating the sport at the high school level and up in Arkansas, and just man, he's just done it all. Dustin Plott, another unbeaten Oklahoma State wrestler, 6-0 at 174, ranked 12th, coming out against Tristan Wills, another redshirt freshman from the Trojans, 5-7. They met 3 weeks ago, and Mr. Plott pinned in 243 Tristan Wills. So let's see if Wills can get something going a little better this time. And, you know, we talked about how tough this is for Little Rock. Not only have they not come close to winning a match, except 141 was a close match, they do not have an offensive point yet in this duel, Leroy. No takedowns, no reverses, no near falls. They only have some escapes. So it's been a really tough go for the Trojans so far.
Yeah, tough year, that's for sure, and it just takes time. It takes time to build winning programs and winning culture, and that's part of it. Part of it is how much of going against Oklahoma State, Arizona State, Stanford. I mean, they've wrestled some top-notch, top-tier Division I programs, and I think you've got to ease that schedule up a little bit to give them confidence.
I know you want to face the best, but next year maybe they'll be able to wrestle more mid-level type teams that they can compete solidly with, and maybe throw 1 or 2 real big ones in there, but basically build a schedule where you can build some confidence in your team, putting some victories on the board.
That's right.
Speaking of victories, Oklahoma State's win over Oklahoma this afternoon was the Cowboys' 3rd straight win over a ranked opponent, because they beat number 13 Iowa State and number 16 Northern Iowa, their 2 previous duels. So it's good to win over ranked opponents. You know you're getting good competition.
Well, and those are probably three of the best dual meet teams for sure in the conference. That we'll find out. Wyoming and West Virginia are coming to Stillwater here soon for the tournament. Here's the single.
I was about to say, Plott kind of taking it easy and cruising, not doing a lot. Just as I was about to say it, he fires in for two, the first points of this one in the final 10 seconds of the period. So that's going to be 2-0 in another 2 seconds into the first period. Plott with the late takedown. 12 seconds riding time.
Yeah, he had to work hard in that match earlier today in Norman, and thought we'd see a little more offense out of him early on, but he waited there till the end of the period and got it.
So a couple of freshmen here. Plott, the true freshman from Tuttle, Oklahoma, and Wills, also a freshman from Derby, Kansas.
And so far this year, he's been one of the only wrestlers on the team that have really consistently turned and even pinned an opponent from a breakdown to a turning combination.
Well, he's rolling along here so far, even though it's only 2-0 on the board. He's been in control and starting to build some riding time. It's up to 50 seconds right now, so he's in control as long as he continues. And again, a couple of young wrestlers, and with Little Rock, it's virtually all freshmen and sophomores, mostly freshmen in the lineup this evening.
Wills will be on bottom.
You know, we're only a month away exactly. We'll be in Tulsa.
BOK Center.
Yeah, BA Center for actually 4 weeks. March 7th and 8th, I believe, if I have the dates right. Maybe I might be a day off there. 6th and 7th, I beg your pardon. There's 1 day off.
And I think in the championship bracket there, they'll have 3 matches to be in the finals, or is it 4?
It depends on whether
I know
you
at
have
the
a bye or
NCAA, you know, you're getting ready for 4 to 5 matches to be in the finals, and you could have 6 to 8 matches if you're wrestling for 3rd place. So that's what they're trying to get them ready for with these dual meets, and is the postseason, and that many kind of matches over a few days. Of course, the conference is 2 days and the NCAA is 3 days.
Still just 2-1 here after the escape by Wills, and so he's hanging in there, and the riding time is exactly 1 minute, but Plott will start down in the 3rd. So if nothing happens the final 8 seconds here, it's going to be a tight match, a little tighter than you would have thought. Remember, Plott pinned him in 245, I believe it was, in the previous duel. So 2-1 after 2. Plott chooses bottom. Let's see if he opens up a little bit like he did this afternoon down at Oklahoma. He won 11-6 in that one.
Well, he's got a great near arm far leg series. Haven't seen him even try it.
His victory today was over Anthony Montanona, who's a very solid wrestler. He was an NCAA qualifier last year, so good 5-point win, but he's not putting up the points in this one. As Wills is hanging in there. It's now 3-1 with the escape. And riding time not a factor now because it's down to 50 seconds. So this is an opportunity for Wills to try to pull off a big upset. Unranked with a 5-7 record going against a 7-0 unbeaten wrestler. So let's see what happens the final minute 20.
Yeah, I just don't see either wrestler really trying to use their tie-ups as setups. They're clinging on each other, or they're just pummeling, and they're not setting their feet and fighting.
Yep. So we'll see. Somebody better have a good shot, especially Wills, because he's in arrears by 2. He needs 2. And Plott, this will be I think, regardless of the outcome here, even if he wins, probably a somewhat disappointing showing for Dustin Plott.
30 seconds
After that first takedown, really hasn't done much.
174.
27 seconds left.
Well, you've got to wonder when Wills is going to take
Got
a
to fire.
risk.
Yeah, half shot there, but not
Yeah.
serious. There's a little fake, but again, not a serious shot. 10 seconds to go. Stalling warning against Plott, but that'll be non-factor, and he wins it 3-1 on a very tight match. So the Cowboys lead the duel now 31-0. Arena against the Trojans of University of Arkansas Little Rock. There's a familiar face for the people here in Stillwater. Chandler Rogers, two-time All-American at Oklahoma State, and was coached by Neil Arisman, and this is his first season as assistant to Neil Arisman over in Little Rock. So fans remember him, a great thrower. Boy, he could trip you, he could headlock you, whatever.
Had his older brother that came here and wrestled first. He went to Stillwater High School, and
family
wrestled
moved here.
From family
Washington.
moved here from Washington, and yeah, good familiar name here to Stillwater folks.
Well, Dakota Gear for Oklahoma State, the redshirt senior, is 6-1 and ranked 13th, and he's facing a man looking for his first win. Zane Davis, a freshman, 0-5 this year, and he's from Allen, Texas. A great program they have at Allen, the best in Texas. But a tough assignment. You're wrestling a veteran redshirt senior who's a returning All-American, and you're a freshman still trying to get one win in the book. So it's a tough call for Zane Davis. See what he can do. It was a tech fall 20-3 by Gear last time, and there's a quick takedown there, and he's up 2-0.
And Gear putting 2 points on the board.
And Gear does a good job with his length and leverage when he's on top. And you'll see that here with his turning combinations, and as he's looking to hook something up here that he can get some tilt action with.
So a 2-0 score early. He's got that tight waist under there, and looking for a turn is Dakota Gear in the white singlet. Oklahoma State has the Cowboy Challenge Tournament coming up next Sunday. We'll be with you on that one. Was to be a 5-team event, but Central Oklahoma was forced to drop out because of COVID issues. There's the turn. There's the count. And he's got 4 points coming.
Gear with the near fall.
Tight waist, lock that wrist and roll him, huh?
Yeah, you bet. I don't even know why. Okay, he's going to let him up, because I didn't know why he took the pressure off and didn't just go right to something else, turning combination. But I see he wanted to work on his feet a little bit more.
And there's another quick 2 to make it 8-1. Lets him up, 8-2.
One Davis on the escape.
And Dakota Gear back on the attack. Mentioning there's another 2, so that's going to be 10-2. That event next week would be a bracketed, individual bracketed style, 4 teams now, including the Cowboys, of course, and then Wyoming, West Virginia, and Missouri. A good field.
It is, and I think what was it? UCO had to pull out
because of virus issues.
Central Oklahoma, Division II, one of the top teams in Division II. COVID issues there.
Just an avalanche of takedowns here. That's 14-5 already. Oh, and now 16.
It's like he slipped and tripped and went to his hips and fell.
14-7, I should say. That was given the takedown to Gear, so used to it. So then he got 15 with an escape, and then 2 more to make it 17-7. And we're still in the first period as it finally ends. And Davis says, "Oh, that's only one period." I've had about all the fun I can have here, and we're not making fun of him. It's just a tough situation for him. A young freshman against a veteran 5th-year guy who's an All-American and tons of experience. And you're
Pennsylvania high school. And,
sure.
Went to Edinburgh, transferred here from Edinburgh.
And makes it 18-7 with the escape, does Gear. And he'll go right back on the attack. And there's not two yet. Doesn't have him to the mat yet. Now he does. So 20-7 with that takedown. So a turn would end it, or he'd need two takedowns.
Two more takedowns. Yeah.
There's one escape to make it 20-8.
Nice.
Back in 22-8 with that takedown. So if he wants to end it, he can let him go and take him down most likely, and that would be 24-8. We're still in the second period.
I took neutral, so that he is going to
just go for the 2. Oh, we gave it a free escape. So 22-9. Or did I misread that? Yeah, no, there it is, 22-9. So a takedown here ends it. Got the wrist trap, didn't get anywhere with that. Coming right back. Good for Davis. He took a leg shot there, couldn't get it. And there's the takedown that will end it, 24-9, the tech fall.
Well, Davis didn't back off.
36-0. We'll be back with the 97-pounders. You're watching Glendual here against Oklahoma. That's a 6 p.m. start. So it should be a great way to end up the regular dual season, if you will. And then, of course, a month from now, March 6th and 7th, Big 12 Championships in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So the talented, unbeaten freshman for the Cowboys, 11th-ranked A.J. Ferrari, comes out against Mr. Johnson from UALR, and that is Dylan Johnson. He is 4-8 on the year. Ferrari is 8-0, and he won by tech fall in the duel 3 weeks ago. And Johnson, of course, is one of the rare non-young wrestlers on this team for Little Rock. He is a senior. His hometown's Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So at least he's been around a while in college wrestling. But Ferrari is a guy, one of the most highly recruited wrestlers in the nation last year. I think some considered him the #1 prospect regardless of weight, and he's done well so far.
And, you know, he hasn't quite, he's still learning. These freshmen, they learn right up until till the championships. I mean, they are growing and learning the whole year. They're competing and figuring out what works, what doesn't at this level. And he's certainly has a great deal of potential and ability. And he's a hard worker, so there's a lot of good things working for him. I think he's going to be as impressive, if not more impressive, seeing him be dominant against somebody. But when he reaches those top 3, 4, or 5 guys in the country, I think that's when you're going to see him shine as well. I mean, he won't maybe dominate him, but he's going to be in the match, and he's going to have a chance to win the match. And that's where he's got a chance to make a big splash this year in postseason competition.
Well, 6-0 after that takedown. He piled on a 4-point near fall, so he's up 6-0 and already has 49 seconds riding time as they come back to the center of the mat. And he's been really tough on top so far against Johnson, who just has not been able to come close to getting away, and of course got turned and was big trouble there for about 10 seconds. So cruising along 36-0 the Cowboys, and cruising along so far 6-0 for A.J. Ferrari. And he has younger brothers who are really good wrestlers too, and actually they are now living in Stillwater and wrestling for Stillwater High School. And kind of like the Rogers family we mentioned. They moved into here, and like the Rochalt family years ago. So a lot of these guys will follow the oldest child to the college. The whole family goes. Another turn, and I can't tell, couldn't see the count. I don't know how many points he got there, 2 or 4. Referee was away from us.
I'm really looking forward to this weight class, this 97-pound weight class, 197, for the tournament where we've been talking about, with the Wyoming wrestler having beat the #1 wrestler in the nation from NOAH, from West Virginia. And so they're all going to be here in Stillwater. next weekend.
That's a tidy little weight class. 10-0 Ferrari as we go to the second. He chooses bottom. And you mentioned Noah Adams was ranked number 1 from West Virginia. He lost to Stephen Buchanan of Wyoming, who was number 17. Rocky Elam.
He slipped him there. He's got it.
He's pinned.
Yeah.
He's pinned. And that one goes in just 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Wow.
The winner by fall in his house,
Sure.
Ferrari.
Don't think you're an investor?
Slipped him off, and then
Whoa, hit falls, you name it. Going to the last match of the day, Austin Harris, the redshirt junior for Oklahoma State, is now 5-3, and he goes against Gabe Beyer of UALR, redshirt freshman, who is 6-6. He does have a 500 record. One of his losses was a 6-5 defeat to Harris 3 weeks ago in the match in Little Rock. So here's a pretty decent chance for Little Rock to get on the board because they had a very tight match last time.
yeah, Byers is strong. He is physical, and he stays right in your face. Where Harris is, Harris has to bring his best game almost to every match. He's not the most athletic. He's not powerful, strength-wise necessarily, or so he gives away sometimes some athleticism and size, of course.
Lots of size.
Lots of size, and as a result, he's got to bring his A game every time, and he's got a great attitude, and we saw it last year at the Big 12 championships, and he's developed.
Well, he's done a nice job filling in and had to build himself up by necessity because the spots opened up at heavyweight, and he came here as a 184-pounder. He weighs about 230 now, but the last 4 matches that we've seen him in, his opponents have outweighed him anywhere from 15 to 45 pounds. So he's given up a lot of size and strength, and he does have height, he does have leverage, and that's good. But it's an uphill battle for him. Now, Mr. Bayer, I'm going to say Bayer. It could be Beyer. It's B-E-Y-E-R, and we don't know.
Right.
We apologize. We've not been able to find out the exact pronunciation. He's just a freshman. Big, well put together guy. I would think he's 260 or more if I were guessing. I don't know. Very solid. And as we said, he's 6-6. That he had that 6-5 loss to Harris, so he's got a chance to get UALR on the board before they leave town tonight.
Right. Go home on a positive note.
Yes, get something out of it. And, of course, even if he doesn't, still, he just wants to win a match for himself, too, to get his record up. As we said earlier, this should be the end of the line for Little Rock in this season. And I can't remember if they had other duels scheduled later but got canceled because of COVID, or if this was going to be it anyway. But this is their last duel of the year. Oklahoma State again with the Cowboy Challenge next week, and then Oklahoma 2 Sundays from now, 2 weeks from today, in the final duel of the season. So it's winding down, and we were talking about those 197-pounders, and about the time we were bragging on them, Ferrari puts that great pin on, but next weekend you'll have, according to the rankings today, number 1, Noah Adams of West Virginia, number 11, A.J. Ferrari from Oklahoma State, number 14, Rocky Elam from Missouri, and number 17, Stephen Buchanan of Wyoming, although Buchanan will obviously jump up, and I don't know if Adams will stay number 1 or not after that loss. That's his only
And, of course,
loss.
he had Woodley today earlier, and we'll have him again in 2 weeks.
That's going to be a dandy little 4-man bracket.
And then in the Big 12, it ought to be a good weight too, huh?
Sure. There's some good wrestlers in the Big 12 at that weight. That's one of the better ones as far as having nationally ranked wrestlers. Beyer chooses down to start the second.
Well, he had an overtime match, of course, in Norman. We could be heading to another one of those type finishes.
Uh-oh, is that a locked hands? Look, the official holding up. That's not a lock. Usually locked hands is like this, isn't it? Not. That was a weird signal. I guess he was just showing you still have the control, because he was or not the control. There's still no takedown or anything, but Beyer does get his escape, so it's 1-0 Beyer. I wasn't sure what he meant by that hand around the wrist, the official. I've not seen that before.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And there's a low single shot by Harris.
You know, and that's pretty amazing that he goes between the legs and lifted him there. That's a lot of weight coming down on you.
Generally, if you're a small heavyweight wrestling a big guy, you're not supposed to shoot a straight single. You want to go to an outside single or
He
swing
got
single.
it. What a
gets the
finish.
So 2-1 lead by Harris. He says, I don't care. I'm going right inside. So a nice move, and he's rewarded.
And this is something you don't see much at heavyweight. Guy putting the legs in, crossbody ride. But because of the way he's built, he's agile enough to stretch him out and keep him down, ride him out.
He's been a good on-top performer. He doesn't turn a lot of other heavyweights, but he is a pretty good rider for a heavyweight. And part of that, when you get a guy who wrestled lighter weights and moves up, they tend to be technically better than the heavyweights. They weren't just pushing and shoving all the way through high school.
Well, you know, that's kind of an advantage here for him to, and I don't, you know, that's the positive side of losing this afternoon, and him wanting to come in and get better from that loss, as did Sheets.
So he rides out, and he's got the 2-1 lead, does Austin Harris, after 2 periods. And he has riding time built up of 1:20. So if he can get out early in the third, he can keep that riding time enough to have a minute. So this will be an interesting third period.
Yeah, there aren't too many heavyweights that have somebody that's sticking the legs in for a crossbody ride on top of them. They're usually, you know, their thighs are so big that you can't even work your leg in there.
Sure. Well, there's the escape by Harris. So he has 1:09 riding time and a 3-1 lead on the board. So Beyer's got to get after it. He's got to find something to work with on his feet. I think he would like to double underhook and jack Harris up maybe. I saw him try that once, but I don't know. Let's see if he changes his strategy.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't recall in that first match seeing much from him offensively either, other than he doesn't give ground.
Tried for
you know,
a leg shot there.
A standing double is just not going to get under him. You're not going to get that change level that you need to get to those knees.
Harris can probably be a counter wrestler here, try to catch a big man, get a little off balance coming in and jump to the side and score. Again, you got to be careful getting caught underneath if you shoot in on a bigger guy. Beyer's trying to pick up the pace.
I don't think now that he needs to take the risk. I wouldn't. I would just try to hand fight and keep him off your legs. But here we got him locked up. Maybe they're
30 seconds. Now down to 25 and now 20 seconds. Beyer got to find something. I don't think it's going to be there unless you can throw it really quickly. And final 5 seconds, Austin Harris cruises in with a 4-1 lead to make the final score. Oklahoma State 45, UALR nothing. Well, Leroy, good solid performance for the Cowboys. They had 2 close matches, everything else, or 3 close matches, everything else was pretty much dominant.
Yes, it was, and you know, that's what John wanted out of this schedule, and yet he also wanted to see that he's helping